Dun, 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 dun. How y'all doing? Welcome to People Power Hour. I'm Terrell McKinney, running for state legislature in District 11. Waiting for Diamond to join in. Hopefully she joins in soon. But if you haven't, I'll just give you guys some campaign updates. We've been hitting the phones pretty hard lately, which has been good. We've been receiving a great response. We have some mailers going out in the community right now. If you live in District 11, hopefully you receive one. If you haven't, you should be receiving one. As you all know, vote by mail started Monday. Hopefully you applied and you get your ballot soon. If you haven't applied, make sure that you apply. Or if you're planning to go to the polls on the 3rd on election day, make sure you're safe and practicing whatever safety precautions that are needed. Our campaign released a criminal justice plan today, in which you could see on our campaign's Facebook page, Terrell McKinney LD11. You also could go to our website to view it as well. It's under our issues tab, and just click on criminal justice, and then you can hop over to criminal justice reform plan, and you can see it. It covers 6 subject areas within criminal justice: prison reform, probation and parole reform, system reform, police accountability, and juvenile justice. And while we're waiting, I could go through the plan and highlight a few things. So I guess that's what I'll do. Oh, before I do that, also, if you haven't got a yard sign and you would like one, we will be doing a yard sign pull up tomorrow from 12 to 1 p.m. on the corner of 24th and Lake. We'll also be giving out popcorn from Huskerland Popcorn. So make sure you come out. The popcorn is limited supply, so try to come early and get some popcorn and get a yard sign. One second. So I'll go through some of the highlights on our criminal justice plan. Again, you can go view it on our website if you haven't. So for reentry, a few things that we would like to highlight as far as our campaign. Oh, man. For reentry, we would like to end the 2-year waiting period to vote. It's something that Senator Justin Wayne was working on in the legislature and got it passed, and the governor vetoed it. So we're looking to work on that again. We believe also that individuals should have immediate rights to fair housing and the ability to public health assistance programs. We would also like to build relationships with employers to train individuals in ag, IT, the trades, and other emerging industries, because If we don't, we're just sending individuals out and, they're not set up for success in a lot of situations. I think it's a shame that people spend years in jail and come out with just sometimes $100 check and they're told to just figure it out. I think if we want to reduce recidivism in our state, we must prepare individuals upon release. That's why I think it's imperative that we fix programming, making sure that, it's adequate. Also, making sure when they get out that they have a skill or a trade or some idea, some job, transportation, housing, that all should be figured out prior to release. We also have to remove barriers like, the ban the box. We have to remove as many barriers as possible to make sure that people aren't going back into prison. I think putting up a bunch of barriers is counterproductive for our state and for our communities. Next is, just overall prison reform. I think we need to reduce our sentencing reforms. So it's looking at mandatory minimums. Also ending cash bail. It's a lot of people that are sitting in the county jail right now that don't need to sit in the county jail. And then they get out, they lost their job, probably behind on bills. And, some people don't have everything or don't have it all. Some people are kind of work to get to a better space, but then they end up in the county and sitting in there for $250 sometimes and can't get out, and then end up losing their job and back to square one. And we got to stop that. We got to increase access to mental health and trauma services. Right now, our prisons are the biggest mental health centers in the state. We got to fix that. It's a lot of people that don't need to be in prison, but cannot be provided the services that they need to be successful in society. And we got to look to change that. We also got to look at, releasing senior inmates that are incarcerated for nonviolent offenses. Also, elderly and sick individuals. There's no reason that they should have to sit in prison, especially in the middle of a pandemic. No one has a vaccine. We don't know the long-term effects of this virus, and it's spreading within our prisons and our jails. We should be releasing our elderly and sick population as best as possible. What's next? I also believe that, we need to sign into law that all district attorney data be disaggregated by race, sex, zip code, and other pertinent identifiers to, evaluate the racial impacts of current and also evaluate the racial impacts of current and future legislation through a race equity lens. We should reinvest in our communities as well through initiatives to support community services within reentry, harm reduction, crime prevention, and underserved survivors. Next is legalizing marijuana and clearing all convictions. When you look across the country, it's happening. When you look at the stock market, it's trading. There's no reason somebody should be sitting in prison on a 4-year bid for marijuana or marijuana distribution, but all these people could get rich off of it and there's no consequence to it. It makes no sense that we're jailing individuals for the same thing people are getting rich off of in our country. We also have to look at juvenile justice as well. We got to make sure that, the programming is culturally specific and we're allocating resources to grassroots organizations that serve our juvenile populations. I believe they do the best work because they really engage with the kids. They know the kids, they understand where they come from. In a lot of cases, they've been in those in the shoes of our kids. So we have to look at that. Also believe we have to eliminate juvenile life without the possibility of parole and expand, again, mental health and trauma-based counseling inside and outside of youth facilities. But there's more on our website that you could go look at. That's just 3 to 4, bullet points, but there's more on our website within our criminal justice plan. Police accountability is next, and this is a big one. It's been a hot topic all summer, with the social unrest, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and sadly, the list can continue. So I think we need a public registry for misconduct, brutality, and murder. I think when an individual is pulled over by law enforcement, they should be able to look on their phone or, click an app and say, okay, after the officer comes to the door, okay, officer so-and-so just pulled me over. Let me look at his badge, look his name up and see if he has any infractions. And if he does, like in George Floyd's situation, this dude got 17 infractions. He's been involved in numerous occasions where lethal force was used. I want to know that. I would like to know that. So I think we need a public registry for misconduct. We also need independent oversight. I don't think the police can police themselves. I mean, historically, they can't. They refuse to. They have a blue wall of silence. We also have to prevent, police from purchasing and using military equipment or, you saw it all summer, them throwing tear gas, riding around in big tanks in cities across America. I really don't understand how that is even acceptable. We got to stop that. We also got to bar applicants or people who want to go to the academies and really deep dive in their backgrounds to make sure that they're not, a part of white supremacist and nationalist groups or support their messaging. And we have to end qualified immunity. Right now, it's set up to where police can kind of get away with anything, and there's no recourse to hold them accountable. And we need to change that. If you kill somebody, you should be able to be held accountable. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to. For probation and parole, eliminating probation fees, and at least judge everybody on a case-by-case basis. There's a lot of people that cannot pay those fees. I mean, you're sending them out of jail or out of prison with $100 check and requiring them to pay these fees. You haven't helped them while they were inside with getting employment, but you expect them to just get out, get a job, get transportation and housing within a 90-day time span, and that's just not realistic. And it shows in our recidivism and our mass incarceration crisis that we have in the state of Nebraska. So we got to look to fix that. We also need cultural competency within the parole and probation systems. We got to make sure that all officials, not just parole and probation officers, but all officials really understand the individuals that they are hired to serve or hired to monitor, whatever you want to call it. We have to enable early discharge by awarding compliance credits for successfully meeting probation requirements for a given time period. We also have to limit incarceration as a response to violations. That's also how you reduce the population. We can't, just because somebody missed a meeting, didn't get a job in enough time, that doesn't mean you send them back to prison. You figure out, why did you miss the meeting? How can I help you get a job? That doesn't mean, you couldn't get a job or you couldn't keep a job, you need to go back to jail. It makes no sense, but that is happening. If you want to learn more, definitely visit our website, peopleforterrellmckinney.com. Go to our issues tab, click on transforming the criminal justice system, and then you'll see, another link to click on criminal justice plan. Does anybody have any questions? I'm open to answering any questions while I'm on tonight. Sorry, our guest isn't on tonight. I'm sure something came up, but I still wanted to get on and communicate with you guys and answer any questions you may have. Again, we have a yard sign pull up tomorrow from 12 to 1 p.m. on a corner of 24th and Lake. We also will be giving anybody that comes some popcorn while supplies last, and the popcorn is from Huskerland Popcorn. Dun, 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 dun. If no one has any questions or anything, I guess we'll be ending a little early today. Sorry. Definitely was looking forward to that conversation, but if you don't have any questions, I look forward to seeing as many people as possible at our yard sign pull up from 12 to 1 tomorrow. We'll also be dropping lit all weekend. So if you want to walk around with the people for Terrell McKinney, please feel free to reach out, sign up to volunteer, call me, send me a message on Facebook, and we'll get you connected. Oh, dang. Again, thank you all for tuning in. We'll try to get this rescheduled, realizing something came up with Diamond. So hopefully in the future we could get it rescheduled. So thank you all and see you later.